Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Marco. I love talking about video game music after a decade on the stage as an opera singer. Today we're gonna be checking out underrated games. Yes, we all know One Winged Angel and the Halo theme and blah, blah, blah. We all know them, especially those of you that are watching this video. You're definitely gamers.
Just call me a gamer.
But what about the underrated games? What about the unsung heroes of video games that fill our days when we're not playing those hyped games? Let's take a look at some underrated tracks that you suggested that I listen to. The Windmill song from Klonoa. Man, Klonoa's been around for forever. Oh man, that's charming. Castanets in the back are sick. Some mixed rhythm here. Actually don't like this section very much. It feels like the guitar is trying to catch up to the flute. I think this is my favorite corner. Actually, no, the flutes. That is wonderful. The middle section, not my favorite. But what it does have is brightness. It has that invitation, right? It's a smile, it's big eyes, it's joyfulness, it's excitement. And of course, it's called the Windmill song. And so you can actually, there's a bit of circulation or undulation, and you can feel the movement, right? And it's like so charming. And the windmill produces water, which then produces fluid for the grain, and everything centers around this windmill, and it's a joy to be alive because of the windmill. It just feels like it's a celebration. It's like it's beauty, it's lightness, it's brightness. It's amazing. The circulation, it's almost like the guitar is the windmill in motion. And yeah, you know, Klonoa is underrated. I mean, I like to think that I'm like pretty savvy about video games, and I gotta tell you, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at some sort of a rabbit child. Unicorn Overlord is pretty underrated. Of course, this is from the team that brought us 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I did not get to play this very much, but it's definitely on my list of games to play. This is called Dragonhold Heir to the Dragon Lands, Unicorn Overlord. Vanillaware's games would do very well on PC, and it's really a shame that they're not available. That's nice. It's a nice accent to have the trumpets. Wow, big shift. Wow. It's so desperate. I really like that musical phrase, pa-pee-da, pa-pee-da. It's almost like you have to pull yourself up from your bootstraps in this moment of this intense pressure. And as you're being weighed down, I felt this also in the beginning when the violin comes in. There's this sense that like the violin, it's like a hand reaching up and pulling you out of this, in this position of essentially like death, like being like weighed down, right? Ba-dee-da, ba-dee-da. Especially in the beginning, the violin just feels like it's that push out of the mob or the mosh of people, the sea of bodies, and you just climb on top. What's cool is that as the piece shifts, that's when we have that kind of slower. Now the rhythm is always kind of with us, but we are able to then have this moment of hopefulness through adversity, through those violins, I think right around here. Trumpets are heralding something new. And right here, you can kind of hear it right there. It's already starts. So we have this kind of intense rhythm the whole time. And as the strings start to play into that, the battle pivots and we have this moment of hope, right? Check it out. Now as we go, right there, right? We have a slowdown. Well, it shifts and subdivides. Da 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 da. Right? And with throughout that, even though we have that beautiful violin, we still have this, and so it's like no matter what, even though we can still climb, we can still keep going and really ride the wave up to the top and emerge out the other side successful, right? But that emphasis is really important. So I mean, a beautiful piece. And Unicorn Overlord is really not a game that many people talk about, and I think like in the tactics world, I think that was what was so cool about 2025 is that Final Fantasy Tactics kind of, I mean, people have always loved Final Fantasy Tactics, but it did kind of reach a wider audience. And I think in general, tactics games don't really necessarily like hit on all fronts. I mean, we have the classic, the Fire Emblems, I wouldn't even call XCOM this, so I'm not going to put it in there. It's a different genre, I think, but like, you do have like the sort of the usual players, and I think Unicorn Overlord was cool because it kind of took the format of Vanillaware and the art style that we saw also in 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, another underrated gem. And now that I've watched Evangelion, I feel like I owe it to myself that I must play 13 Sentinels. Anyway, separate conversation, but being locked on the consoles and not being on PC, there's such a wide variety of people that probably would play a Vanillaware game. They just don't have access to it, and that's too bad. rad because, well, why not? Partners, the game is afoot from the great Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney is probably less underrated than some of the others on this list, but I also really like Partners, the game is afoot, so any excuse to listen to it, and this is an official arrangement. Tap dance, one of the only types of dancing I ever desperately wanted to learn. Never did. I love this. I love this. Yeah, and true, and it probably is more likely not tap. It feels like tap dance, but obviously the whole sound is more tango style. I do think that this theme is fairly popular. Obviously, like whenever we talk about this particular style of music, there's a sensuality within it that I think carries it in a very big way. Obviously, there's a dancing quality in it. There's a movement aspect. You kind of feel this, not legato per se, but there's this sort of, it ebbs and flows, kind of like water. There's a push and pull. That's definitely there. And there's definitely this feeling of, it's a weird thing to say, but there's kind of a degree of veiled aggression in it. Like there's poise. I think it's probably what I'm thinking. There's poise, there's body, there's energy. Right? You have that voice, then the other voice comes in and repeats it. And so there's a natural, like, sort of looking at your partner and trying to meet in the middle through this sort of movement. And it's just so elegant. And it's very, very, very classy, organized. There's structure laden within it, so it all feels, none of it feels random. It all feels very intentioned. And then of course the accordion and like love that. It's a slight crescendo into the next idea. And all these instruments are connecting to each other and they're interlacing. And so there's this an inevitable feeling of a merging together of ideas. Now, again, reminder that this is a like visual novel attorney game where you have to solve the cases, right? There's almost this sound of like what goes through the mind as you try to put the pieces of the puzzle together and figure out, well, why did this happen and why did this happen? And trying to come to the truth and the proper conclusion. It's almost like the tango sound is a battle of wits. And so you're trying to outmatch each other and outplay each other and trying to, wit is a very different kind of weapon compared to brute force. The word, the pen, all these like these things that seem very weak and easily broken can actually break the bigger thing all through their the subtle twists and stuff. And I think like ultimately that's what that song really delivers on is elegance and the capacity for something. And I actually don't know the plot, but the capacity for someone, and I think this is like, I don't know, is this like the first time attorney or something? It doesn't matter. There's something like about growing into oneself and then taking control that we kind of get through that piece of music. And it's just such a sublime, I would encourage you to go and seek it out and listen to it. 'Cause it's one of the best pieces of music in video games for sure. Now, Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana, was probably one of the games that the series is probably most known for. Ys kind of broke past certain thresholds of public attention, but Ys on the whole really doesn't get a lot of recognition. And hell, I mean, there's 10 of them, so they're going to keep localizing them for as long as possible, as long as people buy them. This particular theme is from Ys Origin, and Ys music is known, and now it's action combat, action ARPG style gameplay. Very, very fun. I happen to be a big fan of Ys. Now, I've not played all of them, but I did start up Ys Trails of Felghana the other day, or whatever it's called. But this is Genesis Beyond the Beginning from Ys Origin. Check this out. Hell yeah. I never heard this before. Bro. Holy shit. The thing is, like, every Ys battle theme is like this. Now, this one is particularly good, and I never heard this before. Like, very, very good. I love this style of electric guitar. The beginning, too, is so languid and such a beautiful stretch, and it's just so satisfying to listen to. All Ys tracks are like this. And if you like anything related to, you know, ARPGs, or Japanese ARPGs, or like, you know, I don't know, just this style of gameplay, you gotta play a Ys game. You have to. They're all just enjoyable. You know, I don't think any of them are really like super. Well, I don't know. I haven't played them, but like Ys 10, as an example, is like not that deep. But like Ys 8. You should play Ys 8 next time it's on sale, or you know, it's so good. Ys 8. Sunshine Coastline, oh my god. And so this music is just so it's just so, like, it's so unique, and I think really hard to find in games where I mean, it's not hard to find per se, but just like every battle theme, every boss theme, there's so many different. This is like literally like the opening version of this. Like, I think this plays at the beginning of the game. They're just really good. If you've never played a Ys game, I just so recommend you to try Lacrimosa of Dana. It's so beautiful. They're fun. They don't take themselves too seriously, but like the plots are big. Adol is like a world traveler. Like, there's just a lot to like. Another underrated gem is actually a pretty recent game called Echo Point Nova. And Echo Point Nova, it's hard to describe. It's a single player FPS game, and it has movement not dissimilar to Titanfall 2. There's a lot of momentum. It reminds me a little bit of Ultra Kill as well, in the way that it kind of has the movement set up. And you travel to like each different location on the map, and the map is pretty spread open, and it's all like in the air. And you have to go from point A to point B, and there's like different biomes on each of these little islands. It's fun. And this is Gloria from Echo Point Nova. Fuck yes. God. That goes so hard, dude. Oh my God, this is like one of my new favorite tracks. This is so good. That is disgusting. Dude, I loved that. Oh my God. Holy crap. That is so good. I love the momentum in it. I love the vocals at the beginning. The whole thing is to get you to like go from point A to point B, right? And a lot of times the music, and I haven't played a lot of it. I've played about, I don't know, maybe 4 hours or so. It's weird. It's like a balance between power fantasy and feeling momentum, and also like every time you get to a new biome, you push a button and you do a challenge. And the challenge is usually like eliminate X amount of enemies, right? So each area has its own sort of like horde mode, essentially. It's way cooler than how I describe it though, because the visuals are really nice. The momentum in the moment to moment battle, like shooting, is really satisfying, deeply underrated, but also like fairly celebrated on Steam. It's just such a good game. I just would encourage you to play it. Like the way that it sounds, there's like, there's so much energy within that piece, even that piece, Gloria. There's so much energy and you can feel the momentum, and you really can't like picture it until like you see it for yourself. But like going from one island to the next, and you have this like claw shot that allows you to grab on to different ledges and pull yourself up. And there's a lot of nice movement tech. It's so much fun. And my God, I just like, I was so on board for that. Wow. Another game that is, I think, more well known. It sucks because it's like stuck on the Game Boy. I think the Game Boy is the most recent iteration of it. Skies of Arcadia has one of the most glorious title screen like any occasion that I could ever find to make a video about a title screen, I will feature Skies of Arcadia because it is divine. And so this is Drachma's theme. Love the tremolo and the stings. Bye. You know, this is an interesting one because on the one hand, it's fairly like something that if you're clued into video game music, you already kind of know, like this sort of marchy, very strong, boisterous, powerful, dominant man, military guy. So on the one hand, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, this is nothing I haven't heard before. But there's these little moments, these little nuanced corners where I'm like ba ba da ba be da ba da be ba da ba be da, intertwined in that sound. And so all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, this is very introspective. This is like a guy who, is, a tough dude. And yet there's this like he's soft at the same time. He'll kick your ass, but he also is very thoughtful and cares about the people around him. That's kind of funny because like usually the archetype of like the military guy in games, especially of a certain era. Now, mind you, Skies of Arcadia, Dreamcast, and then I think eventually GameCube. I don't want to misspeak, but I think so. That was a very particular kind of style, and we really didn't necessarily get that kind of subtlety. Everything kind of was a little bit more one note. Obviously, we've had other characters that have had that kind of nuance, but I find it interesting, and it's a nice song. I haven't been the biggest fan of Sony in a little while. There's so many dormant IPs that they have decided to not do anything with. Sly Cooper being one of them. So I would consider Sly Cooper to be pretty underrated just because, well, who's playing a Sly Cooper game? Nobody. This is Sly Cooper 3, Venice Espionage. Love that. I love the harpsichord in there. That's awesome. I absolutely love that percussion underneath. That's crazy. Really nice supported piano too. Obviously we're like, sneaking around here. The muted trombones, you don't hear that too often. Did you notice that little corner right there? That's interesting. That whole thing was actually, as it built up, was actually kind of desperate. But then all of a sudden, all of a sudden it turned sort of major, and there was this moment of like, oh, I'm Sly Cooper, don't worry. Like, oh shit, this is bad. Like, we need to get this done, otherwise whatever's gonna happen. No, hold on. I'm. Let me gather myself. I'm Sly Cooper. I don't need to worry about anything. What? Anyway, has a nice, really, really nice, gorgeous lilt of, that sort of spy feeling. I think it's cool to buck against the James Bond or the that kind of sneaking music, and instead have this, which is and also the instrumentation is really cool because we use the snare drum. Or I don't know if it's a snare, but we're using percussion to sort of, keep a momentum going. It's nice. Sly is a series that I wish more people could play. Even I, frankly, didn't play it in my childhood, but I know that there's lots of people that like Sly Cooper, and Sly, was emblematic of like the PlayStation at one point, and without being it is definitely upsetting that there are certain IPs that I think would do so well, that are so weird and fun. Ape Escape, Sly 3, but instead everything is like, movie, which is really a shame. And I used to be a huge PlayStation guy, but as the years have gone on, I've kind of stopped. I wanted to talk about Dust: An Elysian Tale. Now this, you know what, I feel like this was the first game I ever bought on my PS4. I've never played it. People praise it, but no one talks about it. So in my mind, that is deeply underrated. This is Everdawn Basin from Dust: An Elysian Tale. It's like a prayer. Wow, that's impressive. Tremolo build. Wow, the marching of soldiers. Was it like a procession towards... Wow. What? That's surprising. What a mix. That is impressive. I have to be honest, like, this is, whenever I think of Dust: An Elysian Tale, I mean, I don't really think of anything. I mean, I just think of like a game, like a Metroid. Well, I don't think it's a Metroidvania-ish, but it's a side scroller. I don't know if it's a beat 'em up. I don't know anything about this game. That alone went through 3 different identities, between the first one being this like deeply like almost spiritual, connecting to the self, connecting, asking for something bigger, sort of reverence and reverie and so on and so forth, to then pivoting to this, sort of outcry outburst. Then we march into battle, and we march into aggression, and we march into that wonderful chant, and you actually heard the thum, 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 thum as we get into that. And then we go into this, which is sick. And so it's interesting to go from this like really, really hardcore intensity to then to start with this piece to then go in. It's like a whole journey. This is another one where I want to listen to the whole soundtrack. And again, no one talks about Dust and Elysian Tale, or if they do, they're like, man, that game is great. But no one, I mean, I don't know anybody that references this besides like hardcore gamers that have maybe played it. This one, if you like video game music and you like music in general, this one might be another one that might be worth adding to the pile of games to play, because simply from that little tiny excerpt, that was a serious journey. And is really impressive. The thing is, there are so many underrated games, and there are so many games that people talk about, or, you know, if you go to like the top Steam played, like it's all the same stuff all the time. There's so many games that get left behind, and some might say, well, they're left behind because they're not that good. And that's simply not true. I mean, there are so many quality games that come out every day. Every day. I'm looking at the most played list right now. It's all the same players all the time. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, you know, these live service games are great. And they, you know, sure, you know, Mutagenics is great. Baldur's Gate 3, Stardew Valley, yeah, of course. But it's Terraria, like those games are all great. And it's not to disparage those, but it's also to say like there are so many games that get left behind or are not talked about and are deeply underrated that probably deserve more eyes and more attention. So definitely drop your favorite underrated game below. I'd love to continue to have a series where we spotlight and highlight some of the music from some of these underrated games, because I do think that they deserve it. And as a lover of video games, I feel it's important, and why not do it? So thanks a ton, and I'll see you later.